Hi, this is Lakhi Singh, the property fixer, here to fix you and help you grow your property and your business affairs to the next level. So if you're looking for knowledge and insights about how to get involved in property, solve your problems about scalability in your property business, then do watch our 20-minute clips. We've taken them from hundreds and, thousands of videos that we've taken over the last 6 months, and we've broken them into simple chunks which can make them useful for you. So do watch and do subscribe to our YouTube channel underneath as well.
You may, especially from Mandy. But Mandy, we have John Smith, we have Amar Ali, and we have Tina as well. They're all giving me a shout out, and I think Mandy's giving me a shout out. So tell me, Monica, is there something there helping you?
Yeah. Well, the government acknowledged that loneliness is a big problem at the moment. It's not just for the elder people that are staying in home, but also, and maybe even more, for the younger people, like the students that started to study, are now locked up. There are no campuses. There are not this first week introductions. So that's I'm moving away from home, starting my study, but I have to be stuck into my student house and can't go anywhere. There's no parties, etc. So loneliness is now officially acknowledged as a problem coming with COVID. So there are groups, there are phone circles, there are help centers where you can go to if you're feeling stuck mentally, psychologically. There are campaigns of making people aware that they're not the only one feeling this way, so that they should come up and should tell anybody that they would like to. So there are different ways of asking for help, and that it's not a shame and that we're not the only one. So that's acknowledged. I think that's a very important one.
Sorry. So there are things in the Netherlands to take care of the psychological fallout of being. So it's not the virus; it's more being forced to stay indoors and being told that you can't leave.
But it's also the lack of social interaction, because, like you said before, it is in the nature of any animal, also in humans, that you want to connect, that you are part of a group, that you have your peers around, that you can share your ideas, that you can share your loneliness or share your joys. So you just need other people.
That's true.
One of the big
Monica,
things,
what's your background? We've not asked yet. I think a couple of people are asking. Monica, what's your background? What is it that you originally, what were you doing before you got into property? I think
I still am into conflict management. I am a trained and accredited mediator for problems at the workplace. So I'm not dealing with
doing this on a corporate level, so in corporate environments. Excellent. Excellent. We've got the right lady on. I think we've got lots of things that we can take away from Monica, apart from your beauty. And we take that away with the mind of using it. Mary, what do you think of a new idea I've got? Doing virtual hugs. So you've got someone in Ireland who is able to give a hug to your siblings or a hug to your dad, and you could be on the screen giving a virtual hug to your dad. How would that make it? Would that work?
No, I think it's like Monica said, it's people who are feeling very isolated, and I think the Netherlands sounds like you're providing more of that kind of support than we are here in the UK. In the UK, the charities, the phone lines are completely stretched at the moment. Obviously, there's huge sectors not supported in the mental health. Obviously, gyms are closed. So certain things. So I think the real fallout as well would be absolutely mental health issues. And right now, I don't really feel that's being very supported. I think you've got a very valid point about the young people, that there's certain age groupers, you know, they can't get part-time jobs, they can't date, they can't go, you know, that whole point in their lives that's just meant to be one of the best times is they're really suffering at the moment. There has been a lot about the older community, and there's been some more support coming there, volunteering, people doing shopping. But then they've said, oh, well, actually, we should be doing this all the time anyway. Why are we just doing it because the virus came? Initially, there was this great feeling of walking down the street and people were waving and saying hello. I live in a friendly place anyway. But it's winter now. It's dark here at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's quite depressing. And today we're going to have an announcement. What is happening in the UK? Are we all going to go into a tier 5 situation? And everybody's just holding their breath to see what's going to happen. So yeah, it's I don't know. I think it's a bleak. It's going to be a bleak January, February, March. I don't think anybody's, you know, looking forward to how that's all going to work out. Really,
I think it looks
first lockdown.
Very interesting, Mary. It's very
weather here in the UK.
It's very interesting.
Everyone was out in the sun, so that's
it's very interesting, Mary. You say that even the weather adds a gloom to your emotions, and I think it is quite. It's like a triple whammy. You've got the dark, long nights. You've got the cold weather. You've got the virus, you've got lockdown, you put all those things together, you know, it must be a real big toll on the human soul to keep sounding the way you are sounding. By the way, we have a big shout out from Carolyn Williams she says to all of you gorgeous women, and I hope that includes me too.
Hi, Carolyn.
Yes, Carolyn Williams.
Thanks, Carolyn, for watching us.
Yeah, so she probably confused me with you two, but I hope you can make a distinction. I am not a gorgeous woman. Lakhi Singh also is sending out. Lakhi Singh's on the road, I think, taking his son. Can we invite Lakhi Singh in on the road? You can't come on. Right, okay. We've been told Lakhi Singh has been banished today because he's on the road. So I've got you. But she says to all of you, so obviously she's talking about both of you, two gorgeous women that I've got on, all to myself. Right, okay. What do you think is a tip then, Monica? You're into conflict resolution. I bet there's lots of people there that you've taken through the process of resolving conflict or, you know, differences in an office that are probably thinking now, I wish I hadn't been so nasty to that poor young boy, or I wish I hadn't been so mean to that that graduate. You know, they're probably regretting the way they behave. Do you think that's happening, Monica, in a lot of your cases? And are people normally attuned to behaving in a certain way, and when they get into this type of situation where they don't have anybody around them, they could actually regret the way they behaved? Do you think that's happening?
I'm not saying it isn't happening, but in my opinion, I think it's more like, oh my God, I'm so thankful that I don't have to see them every day now. So I'm not looking forward if they're closing up the offices again. So if it's opening up. So I expect there's a lot of work waiting for me once the lockdown is over and people are returning to their offices, and then they're meeting their colleagues every day again.
Yeah. So
do you hope for people to regret the acts that they, well...
Yeah, I think that's what I make to you. That's maybe a very good time for reflection when these people come back, and you could get those people who have been behaving wrongly to think how lonely it must have been in lockdown, and if they'd been a nice person, they may have gotten a call from this colleague or student or graduate, whatever it was. So when have you got a psychological background? Have you got a degree in psychology or something like that?
No, I don't. Of course, there's a lot of psychology coming into this profession, but no, I don't have a psychological degree. I used to manage a lot of commercial teams, both in sales and marketing. And during difficult times that there wasn't the certainty that the company would even exist after a year. So insecurity, how would you deal with people that are not certain that their job exists in a year time? How do they behave? Are they choosing for themselves, or are they still in a group and caring about each other? So that's more of my background.
Okay.
Yes, you're definitely right. It's always good to reflect. But I think you also need other people to really come to a good reflection, because if you're alone and just sitting in your home office and you're just meeting your colleagues on a Zoom call where you don't have these little conversations at the coffee machine, then you don't speak out, you don't come to a better level of understanding. To me, you said like it's misbehaving. I don't think it's so much about misbehaving. It's more about miscommunication. It's not taking the time to really understand why people are behaving as they are. So it's more like, oh, you're behaving in a certain way. This is not my way. This is what I would expect. How could we deal with it? How come that you act in this way? What are your thoughts?
Did you practice conflict? Monica, have you practiced conflict resolution in the United Kingdom? Were you doing the same thing here?
Mostly in the Netherlands.
In the Netherlands, right? So United Kingdom. Okay, Mary, have you ever worked in an office environment with other people groping over you or making snide remarks, where they try to, say things that hurt you or something? Have you ever had that environment, or have you always been a self-employed, an entrepreneur, a feminine entrepreneur?
Worked in corporate life. I loved it because obviously I'm quite a sociable person. So, there's a great social life attached to that, really. So yeah, I mean, I know a lot of companies in the UK have got Friday afternoon catch-up Zoom kind of social events happening. I work out of a large co-workspace which has got 600 members, and we all socially distance. But I still go there because it's just to know, just having people sitting near you feels really different than sitting at home. I found the first lockdown extremely difficult because I was working full time and I had 2 children to homeschool, and we don't have any outside space, so it was really difficult. But so I don't know. I think there's no kind of quick solution to this, is there? And at the moment, unfortunately, we physically have to be apart. But we need some more help on the mental, on helping people in their mindset. It's just not even discussed really as a national. Not really, I don't feel. So we're going to see what's going to happen.
Right. So what we've covered today, it's maybe the real fallout of COVID. It's not the loss on finances and business and all that. Today, what's happened is we've slightly drifted from the topic, but we've understood that Monica, Mary, John, Michael, Martin, Julia, all these people are the real fallout, the loss in emotion, the loss in communication, and even worse so for newcomers into the big old wide world, like Monica said, students who haven't practiced their art of communication, haven't practiced the art of making relationships, of interacting with different cultures, different languages, different styles. All of that is being lost. And in the 2 years, it's going to come into 2 years, because 2021 will be, for most part of it, another uncertain year, although we all hope that it very quickly will change into an upward curve if the vaccine really works, that people will be back with their businesses, back working, the environment picking up, and then it should be a steep recovery. But what if it continues? We're talking about a generation, at least of two years, lost of people who don't have proper social skills because they've not been able to practice those skills, they've not been able to understand what love, hate, respect, emotions, all those things mean. Isn't that the real big fallout of COVID? That we don't know how to express our feelings to replace the feelings of a hug. The feelings of a hug, momentary, say so much that thousands of words just cannot say. Very poignant time in history, I say, where we're not just rewriting the laws of finance, commerce, trade, we're possibly rewriting the laws of human nature, or the way that human nature will perceive of each other. How I will perceive of Monica as Monica will perceive of Mary, and that we will perceive of each other through a screen. Very worrying, I think, in some senses. Very poignant, very reflective. We're having to look inside ourselves for the first time in human history for a long time, because we've had the viruses before. We've had this situation in the early 1900s, and obviously that was also a major change in industry and in economy and in world control and world structures. I think all these things ultimately revolve around people. Mary, you do business not because of what you do, it's because of who you are. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's a time where we really need to talk about empathy. And I think a lot of people are getting quite depressed, probably watching or being on social media, because there's these words like smashing it, doing better than ever. Like there's lots of people obviously trying to be positive or being positive or saying their businesses are growing or whatever. But we've got to be really sensitive to other people right now. And that is really important. So it's very hard to talk about wins and gains. And even in property, it's, how am I going to make the big win next year? And, I practice property consciousness, which is, that for me is about, it's not making a gain on the back of other people's misery as such or whatever. So it's a very delicate line. And I think we just need to show a lot more empathy and sensitivity. If we can all make an effort to do that.
There's become a big divide. There's a big divide, isn't there, with people who are stuck in a system that requires for the government, for the higher level of controls, to give them that ability to make money, to get on with their lives. And you've got those people who are probably already in control of their revenues and their lives. And yes, lack of empathy, lack of sensitivity. And I think that's what happens on social media, because you can say something and you may get 20 people listening to you who probably, you know, walk away listening to what you said, being affected by it. It's really powerful, but really, really important that we become sensitive, remain sensitive. I think I will close today because it's the last few seconds. Monica, you're a lady who deals with conflict resolution. And I suppose because you deal with that, you understand the norms of empathy. What do you have to say as a last word to what Mary just said? Insensitivity on the waves, on the internet, on virtual conversations.
Insensitivity, definitely. I must say I'm also hopeful because of human nature. There's, of course, now an awful situation. Lots of people find themselves that they are in kind of a shared situation. Yes, there are people that are acting angry. Yes, there are people that are acting very sad or depressed. There's more and more awareness that people are feeling lonely, that it is good to reach out, that it is better to just turn back to your own little home, your neighborhood, your neighbors, your friends, the people unknown but elder that could use help. And I'm very hopeful that this will also bring a reflection in the community as a whole, hopefully in the world. But start small and spread your own love and spread your own awareness and affection to people in your surroundings. And I feel that this is a wave that is now starting because it's taking so long. And now there's a new year coming. Yes, it is still dark, but light is coming back. And I'm hopeful that we will have a better society once this whole thing is over. Yeah.
Lovely words there from Monica from Netherlands. Thank you so much for joining us. It's lovely to know there is a good side to being on the internet. That's right. You can reach out to anyone and everyone and hear words of wisdom from everyone. Mary and to Monica, we've got lots of love hearts to both of you. Obviously, beautiful women I've had on this morning. I'm blessed. Mary, I feel the love and I feel the strain. Stay blessed. Remember that we are all here to support each other. You're a lovely member and a lovely bit of life to our morning drive time. I will invite you in if you are available to show your lovely face tomorrow morning again. I think we're going to make a special banner for you. I want to make this a reason. Yeah, to lift you up and to make you MC Femem.
MC Fem, yeah.
Okay, and on Friday we got the 1 minute silence. I think it's going to be from 08:10 to 08:11. So we're hoping everyone joins us for that. Just to remember everyone who's passed us last year or in this year, but it will become the last year. And for those people who've lost near and dear ones and basically just having to go through this difficulty of the virus. So take care, both of you lovely ladies.
Thank you very much.
Work on my
Take care.